closures of their markets. And by the way, why did they even keep their markets in such a way to prompt the government in the first place to actually close those markets down? Is a closure enough to change a wrong environmental culture that sadly, not just a Lagos thing, but has been a Nigerian thing for as long as I've been alive, and that's over 40 years. These issues will get us talking, even as we also look at how Lagosians are coping with the flooding following the opening of dams in Ogun State. Lagos, this is the newsroom. At 19 minutes gone past the 6 o'clock hour, my name is Ufuoma Egbamuno, and it is a pleasure. Is it? Okay. I'll probably answer that question after I'm done. Sometimes we, go with the cliche, oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Well, let me be very honest with you guys. I probably would have loved to stay back in the newsroom and continue the off the record discussions I've been having with a couple of colleagues that give me smile all day. But not to worry, this is me joining around 20 minutes past 6 o'clock hour work show. If this is the very first time you're joining us, well, what we do on the newsroom is take a critical look at some of the big stories that have made the rounds because of the past week. Okay, today, people, this show is going to be about you and I and a couple of my colleagues who are right here in the studio. Before we go through some of the big stories that made the critical issues we're about on the show today, let me take a wrap of some of the big stories that have made the rounds in the course of the week. Well, appeal rising from election petition cases across the country here will henceforth be heard in Abuja and Lagos. And of course, in the course of the part, the government secured $1.5 billion sessional loan for budget support from the world. Now, I don't know what to say, annoying or silly aspect of this story is the fact that from the budget that loan monies to actually support, we're going to be buying cars, millions of naira for a few privileged government officials. Not just that, we're spending so much on government expenditure. All of that, likely, not most likely, already budget. This loan is to support the budget. It makes you wonder. It just makes you wonder. Nigeria's inflation climbed to 26.72%. Sometimes we look at these things as numbers, but the reality is that everything you spend your money on has added price. So the normal spray you use for your armpits after you've had your bath. Usually I buy bulk. Naturally, I learned that from I buy things in bulk. I think the last I bought 2 months ago thereabout. I'm not entirely. Last time I bought from one of the stores around VI here, 2,100. I went to get one today because the one I have is almost finished. And in a matter of 1 month, 2 months, it's now 3,400 and something. Just say 3,500 in the space of 1 month. So most times when you hear us read news and say the inflation rate has climbed, difference from 2,100 to 3,500. That's 1,400 increase in just a space of weeks. You had the likelihood that get up to 4,000. Now, I just gave that as an example because that's like the reality that dawned on me this afternoon. How about the pay you buy to cook your soup? Tomato, onions, eggs. Okay. Lagos pensioners to get their pension backlog as the governor also promised to clear all outstanding by the end of 2023. One of the stories we brought to you last week. And President Bola Tinubu also commenced the distribution of 25,000 monthly to 15 million households in the country. And we also brought you a story that NAFDAC plans to review sanctions for exports of substandard products. Good news there from federal government agency. And of course, Ogun Bank president with advice to relocate immediately as for threat. Not just looming, it's now here with us. I think we're going to talk about on the show today. We saw 40 last officials caught extorting motorists and that they are set to face disciplinary. Also, we saw over the weekend, to be precise, 5 people dying and 15 people getting injured on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And we saw the president ratify the Africa Charter on Disabilities. Those are some of the stories we brought to you last week. Today, we're going to talk about, I believe, is closer to home for a lot of you listening to Nigeria Info. And this part will be market closures in Lagos State. It started a couple of weeks ago, and I would say better late than never. I can't to be honest, the last time I personally went to the market. I think the highest I do lately would be to drive to the market, sit in the car, and wait for madam to go inside the market and do what shopping that she needs to do, and then wait. Or ask one of my colleagues to help me do that. So I really not, I wouldn't say I'm that expert when it comes to market issues. But I do know that there's one thing that naturally disgusts me when I get to markets. It's how terrible the sanitary situation. And this cuts across everywhere, not just Lagos. While I was schooling in Delta State, it was the same. 7 or thereabouts, I stayed in Port Harcourt, it was the same. Did I go to market in Abuja the few months I was there? No, I'm not sure I did. But at least I've given 3 examples. Oh, I went to a market in Katsina. It was horrible. So it feels like it's a norm for our markets to be dirty, to have horrible sanitary conditions. And you begin to wonder, is it not the same place that we go to buy what we eventually bring back home to eat? Anyway, the biggest news from today about markets has it that Alaba International Market is the latest one to be sealed by the Lagos State government. And of course, it follows the clampdown the government has had on Mile 12, on Wode Oniri Market, on Ladipo Auto Parts Market, Tejo Show, I think there was one in Agule. I have someone right in the studio who's quite experienced when it comes to market issues. Yeah. My colleague Nana Precious Okun is our analyst on market issues on the show. She's laughing. I don't know why she's laughing. But Nana, can you tell me? Can you just hazard a guess? First of all, and tell me why our markets are this bad when it comes to sanitary conditions? Because I can't understand it personally.
Okay, so I would think that I think it's from those managing the market, because every market has leader or an
association.
Association, yes,
okay.
Right. And in Lagos, because since the markets are in Lagos, what I know is that on Thursdays you would usually be environmental sanitation.
They don't open until 10 o'clock.
Open until 10 o'clock. But the question now would be, are those few hours enough for sanitation, or should there be other times when people can go and clean the market and all of that? So it's just the people in the market they don't really think it's important to clean the market and all of that. The people in the market don't think it is, they probably don't feel the need, or why do I have to? And then they probably don't agree also. And that thing is, people always dispose waste in the wrong way. Do you have buckets in the market? Do you have things where you can drop your waste? You have places where you dispose your waste. Maybe this government should look into providing more baskets. What is Loma not coming to pack waste? That's another thing we need to look at, because I don't know how frequent Loma comes to the market to their waste. That's another thing that could. If I can remember, they keep
the waste.
Yes, by roadside. If those that are responsible for coming to the waste are coming on time,
yes, the collectors.
Yes, because if they are coming on time, I don't think the waste will be that much.
Okay, so let's what's it been like? Some of these markets that have been reopened. Let's for example, the Mile 12 market sealed, reopened. Has there been any significant change?
Yes, of course, because people are first time when they shut the market for that. If you know my 12 market, you know that my 12 market is very busy, very big, and people make a lot of money. I imagine the few hours when the market was shut,
a few days.
A few days. I imagine the kind of losses that people have incurred, not being able to,
especially for traders who make their gain daily transactions.
Yes, so you can imagine the loss. So of course, everyone will sit up. For now, at least for these few weeks or days, everybody will sit up. But how often would they?
That's another problem. The question of consistency. There's one thing I never understand. As a Nigerian, you're on the road, you buy things to eat, and liter, what it is, the pack, the whatever, you just throw it randomly on the floor. Up until it's something I never understand. I don't know if it's because growing up, my parents, ensure that you don't just throw things anyhow. There's a dustbin or there's a trash can. Sometimes when I say dustbin, my child tells me it's trash can. That was dustbin. I guess I'm used to calling it dustbin and all that. But the point I'm trying to make is, you learn from a tender age that you don't do this. It's ingrained in that situation in such a way. Even I'd rather be trash in my pocket until I get home, or I say close what's called. But people are drinking soft drinks in the bus. Boom. I never understand it. But hey, it is what it is. So thankfully, we're beginning to see some of these changes. The question would be how consistent, and I think this also comes back to the government, because I think one of the biggest problems in the country is healthy laws. It's not like the laws are not there, but government to do this in 1 or 2 weeks, in 2 months, like, for example, at the start of a new government, and after 6 months line, everybody goes back to school. But we'll come to that. We'll come to that conversations in a bit, because of course I would like to get thoughts from Lagos. On what says market closures is the only solution. Whilst the market is closed, Lagos State government will have to provide disposal and sanitary services that are reasonable and affordable, and those markets should be disciplined and care for their clean environments. You have actually said it all. Time for set online for story 2. 0700 993 993 0700 993 993 993, or you call us on 0145 719 Lagos. Let's hear what you have to say about the closures of markets over the last of weeks, and of course what it has been able to achieve, and if we can get to where we need to in ensuring that our environment is at least okay, maybe not perfect. Okay. Hello, good evening.
Yeah,
good evening to you. Welcome to Newsroom.
I'm trying.
Okay.
Yeah. First off, you were saying something like, I don't know, because I didn't start off the program.
Okay.
On time. So I don't know, did you make mention of Lagos Trade Fair?
No, I'm not sure I mentioned that, but I think it's. Tell me about it.
It has been closed since yesterday.
Okay.
The news came to us at about 11 a.m. yesterday, saying that the Lagos State Waste Management Authority sealed every market in Trade Fair. So my question is, why are they sealing Trade Fair? Since it's an international body, and we are also remitting to the federal government and not to the state government. We pay for sanitation. Yeah, our environment is clean. We dispose properly. We have a waste truck that picks up our refuge every morning to go dispose.
Okay.
So why are we also affected? Okay, Alaba International was opened this morning, and I was also hearing that Alaba is also a state-owned, not federal. That it was opened this morning. So why are we also being affected? We are not supposed to be affected, because the environment of Trade Fair is clean. Yeah, I can just maybe the entrance to those various markets are bad due to the bad and no good drainage, which I know. But within the market environment, within our shops, it's all clean and very tidy.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. I do not have all the details about the Lagos Trade Fair market.
I have videos.
And the one thing I try not to do is, give my thoughts or talk about things I have little or no knowledge about. But here's also what I think. I would presume that the Lagos State government, if indeed sealed the trade fair market, I would assume that the government will not just up and take such a decision without having reasons for it. But what I'm trying is that the newsroom, myself and my colleague, we will try to get more information about this. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay, man.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate your thought. You can also send us messages on WhatsApp, people, or tweet at us at Nigeria Info FM, at Nigeria Info FM. Would love to get, if you trade in any of these markets, Owode Oniri market along the Korodu Road, the Mile 12 International Market, the Ladiport Market. I think there was a bit of a controversy. Excuse me. I didn't particularly get all the details about that one. There was 2 weeks ago. There was the market closed in Ajegunle, Boundary Market. Yeah, very very popular and big market, by the way. There was the one in Oyigbo. I think Oyigbo is just about the biggest market in Lagos. Am I correct? Because it feels like everybody who wants to buy something goes to Igbo market. I don't know. I'm just asking. But for me, the point will be that get where we need to be. You can say earlier than never. Yes, but I think great move by the Lagos State government. Because like I said in my introduction, it always amazes me how. I'm not talking to you, my mind. You could just like that. Okay, from closures of markets, let's talk about something that touches close home. Flood, waterlogs, and houses being taken over by water. For a lot of persons in Nigeria, but specifically for a lot of persons in Lagos State, rainy season is not one that they look forward to. Partly because it's a bit of a problem. Residents of Lagos who live on the line of canals, the Kamboyan Dam in Ogun, call it for emergency release water from the dam by the Ogun River Authority. And some of their faces include Jegunle, Mile 12, Ode, Alagole, and like I said, people who live along these areas, rainy season is one that they look forward to. It feels like Nena is my expert on on the issues I have. I apologize, laughing. I shouldn't be. I was actually laughing at the fact that Nena is a good analyst here. Now, you have a bit of an experience of this. What is it like, living around this axis?
Living around
You're high alone.
It's a terrible experience, I must say. Very terrible, because that's actually where I was last year. You know, I used to stay around Owode.
Thank God for your life. You moved.
Yes, I thank God. So I stay around Owode, and then so before we even moved, they didn't know that it was waterlogged.
Okay.
And when we got, we were
More or less, you sitting there when it was not the rainy season. You had no idea.
yeah, exactly.
Which is why I always say in Lagos, if you're just on Lagos, if you're looking for a house, I would think this is the best time to go and go house hunting, so that you have an idea what it's like during the rains, because it can be two different worlds, rain season and dry season. Please go ahead.
So the first time I experienced it, I just thought that it was something we could put and let in water and
Go through.
Yes. And then before we knew it, totally the water would almost get to my waist.
Wow.
Yes, we'll normally enter Kano. So from house to the bus stop, I would enter Kano of 200 when I'm going out. And I'm coming back, enter 100, coming back. Because the water is something that you would want to say, oh, let me try to put my egg. And then there are many risks of putting your leg in
Yeah,
water.
don't know what possibly tile, you know.
Yes, exactly. I remember we did a special report on the water.
Yeah, I think we did something like that. Yeah.
And I remember how it is good business for some people, you know, while I'm lamenting about how I can't get more time, you know, because of the water, wait for Kano and all of that. So I'm very excited water is here, because that's when they'll go and bring out the Kano.
Make
and
brisk
then,
business.
Exactly, make money from it. So for those of us who, you know, and what I notice is those people who build their houses there, they're already used to it. So why we who are tenants complaining that, oh, the water is much, they are not.
It's like a culture, like a way of life for them, because there's more or less nothing they can do.
Exactly, most of them used to it. They already have their Kano, they already made, you know, preparation for the water. So it's a very bad and terrible experience.
Lagos, you've heard someone who has a bit of this experience. It feels like this is the way of life during a 6-7 month rainy period. You know, for persons living along this as the Ode, Ajegunle, Mile 12, Alagole axis, as a result of the flood, you know, around apart from possibility of reptiles, possibly you get to your apartment or getting to bite you. You know, there's also possibility you could get some communicable diseases or something. And the thought of it already, you know, sometimes gives me PTSDs. You mean that one of my brother owns a house somewhere on the Ajah axis. I used to stay around axis when I returned to Lagos 4 years ago. Unfortunately, there was the area is a bit waterlogged. You know, and to make matters worse, the people who did construction for the house didn't do enough of exactly. And so at a point in time, water started coming up. Trust me, for the few weeks or thereabout that I was there, and I had to deal with all of that water issues, it wasn't funny. It honestly was not funny. And try as we did to raise the what's it called, the level of, you know, put sand, put it just to raise it up to. It just did not work. You know, it was more of a situation where the house needed to be pulled down totally, you know, rebuilt again from the foundation so that you can and stop all of that. But again, it will possibly go back to one issue that, you know, has been constantly talked about. You know, people building recklessly, people not doing things that needs to be done, and as a result, because the one thing I learned growing up again is that you can't fight with water. You honestly cannot. Whatever you do, if you don't let it go through its normal route or its normal channel, it will find a way. And if it finds that way, you might not like, you might not like the result. And to a large extent, I think that's in some areas, that's what has become a recurrent decimal, a recurrent problem that, you know. Okay, I feel a bit it feels like it's hitting close to home, you know, talking about this, because like I said, it was not a nice experience. Lagos, I would also want us to for the next few minutes that we still have left on the show, I would love to get your thoughts and your reactions. Do you live around a neighborhood that is waterlogged? Do you live around an area, you know, along this areas I've mentioned, Owode, Ajegunle, Mile 12, Alagwele, or you've had the opportunity of going to those axes, you know, and witness to a large extent or to some small extent the sufferings or the issues people are going through? Let's not even talk about Lekki. Let's talk about that, you know, because to a large extent, say it's big man area, but the Moreover, the rich also cry. You sometimes also affects a lot of persons on exits during this period. So it's not just a mainland thing or people living close to the coast. It's also an issue, that affects the whole city. But let's get your thoughts. 0700 993 993. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Ufuoma.
Hi, good evening to the newsroom.
Ufuoma,
Thank you.
it's done with from Savannah.
Welcome.
Thank you. Ufuoma, telling you, when you were talking about water, then you and then I was talking about Bulgaria, telling you, I studied grew up in Moscow as a young man. You know when I went.
Yep.
I'm done from Savannah. I'm staying in Moscow. I've stayed there for something there. I got married, go to school, everything in my life, all my life. For something you understand. And 50 something number you. Now so I'm talking now. I'm able, that's why I'm working. You understand? But I'm telling you, if you now it's lot period. There's a called Radio Street, and there's a place called the Street. Approach is better. The Radio Street, down. Okay, if you are going to that place, getting to number 18, where they call number 18 from Ballet Place, I'm telling you, you will never go there. You will really pass through Apollo before you get to your place. I'm telling you. And one disease that is in that water, if you put your leg 2 times only or once, I'm telling you, all your leg will chop up. Inside your leg, your fingers' leg will start chopping up. So it's very dangerous. So even for you to put your leg there. So that's one if I want to let people know.
All right. Thank you very much for giving us this first-hand experience. It's quite a issue, like I said, that hits home, and it's not something you show your enemy. Talk of wishing such yourself. The question would be, where do we go from here? But of course, I would love to get more of thoughts, and of course, he still wants to talk about the issue to do with market closures. Very, very. Oye again on WhatsApp says, question about the flooding is, what is the government doing about the TED flooding situations? Next year, we should still keep talking about this without any justifiable solution. Sunday Algo, a trader, says the Lagos State government locked trade fair markets without notice or warning of any kind on Sunday, the 22nd of October. 1 million traders confused, and he says very unfair. Again, I need to be able to verify this particular information about locking without notice. If let me serve me right, all the markets they closed down. They've sent notices, and told people, do the right thing. If you don't do this, this is going to happen. So I may not be confirm, or say what you're saying is not correct, but we'll try and get that information. But I would think that the Lagos State government just wake up and make such a decision that will affect millions of people or thousands of people without giving the proper notice. Shutting down a whole market is wrong. I know trade fair very well. Not everywhere is dirty. There are areas that are extremely clean. Government was supposed to focus on the defaulters, not punishing everyone. Stanley from Okota giving that thought. Okay, maybe that could have been an option, but maybe closing it down for everybody would also mean that those defaulting will not have to sit up. I don't know. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Ufuoma.
Hi, good evening to you.
My name is Dennis. I'm calling from my child.
Dennis, could you put your mouth closer to the mouthpiece of your phone? I was struggling to hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Better.
Okay. So I want to speak regarding the closure of market.
Go ahead.
I know you grew up in Delta State. You remember there's this market police?
Actually,
Iko.
Actually, I grew up in Imo State.
Imo State, but I think it's synonymous with the South. Iko, you call them Iko. Then they used to be they used to supervise market environment. They arrest people that are defaulting. See, government closing up the market, they're just showing that they don't know what they're doing. You cannot close up down the market because it's dirty. What do you need to do? Have supervisors, inspectors every day. That's what they need to do.
But
so get them arrested.
Or the other side of the divide will be, now that if this is closed down in 2 or 3 days, you will feel the pinch, so you would not go ahead to default again. That could also be another way.
Throw away the baby and the bathwater. That is shutting down economic activity.
You have a point. You have a point. I wouldn't disagree. You do have a point. It's true. Because I'm pretty certain that if somebody who makes his daily bread on a daily basis stays 3-4 days and doesn't earn, it's going to have adverse effects, especially in this period where the economy is not smiling on everybody. So you do have a point. I'm just saying, I'm also looking at it from the other side of the divide. Now you know how extreme the government can go, so you would not default again.
Another angle to this again, I'm sorry to just put
Go ahead.
See, I've seen so many markets that the government don't come on time to pick the refuse. So people just store the refuse. They store it to a point that they believe that after our government won't come to pick it. They just throw it anyway. So the government have a huge part to play in this.
I agree. The waste management can be better. I agree on that.
It can be better. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Parik Table from Ogba says my side at Ishashi. Coming out to Jodu Bega, the black water crossing the old bridge now has canoes and the new bridge is still ongoing. But we do climb it somehow with ladder, to the other side if you want to avoid the water. Okay, I'm pretty certain if we keep this conversation going, there's every likelihood we might not exhaust it in another 1 hour because quite a number of Lagosians would have one story or one experience to tell or not. But that's what we try to do here on Nigeria Info. Give you, the listener, the opportunity to, of course, talk about issues that affect you. And again, on the newsroom, we try to take a critical look at some of the big stories that have made the rounds in the course of the past 7 days. Hopefully, by this time next week, I will be here. Yes, I should be here. But in 2 weeks' time, I probably would have run away. And maybe Manuel and Yvonne will be here to take charge of the newsroom in about 2 weeks' time. Because I'll take a bit of a breather. But guys, I'll be back next week, Monday, for another bumper package. On behalf of my producers, Emmanuel Onwoka and Precious Nenau, who was the show, thank you very much, people. We'll do this again next week. Femi and the gang will be in the building in a bit. I'm not certain again if it's courtside that will start the show or if it will be game on in preparation for Monday night action involving Tottenham and Fulham. But whatever it is, sports is up next in another 7 minutes. I'm out of here.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM.